Today, we're diving into one of the most incredible events in Islamic tradition, the miraculous night journey and ascension of the Prophet Muhammad. It's a journey that's all about divine encounters and one that left humanity with a gift that still shapes lives every single day. This whole story is really about connection and mercy, and it answers a really big question. Where did the 5 daily prayers come from? That core pillar of the faith? Well, the answer is found in this one single, truly miraculous night. So, to really get this, we're going to follow the Prophet's path. First, we'll look at the journey beyond our world and the amazing beings he met. Then, we'll get a glimpse of the absolute wonders of the heavens. From there, we get to the heart of it, the conversation with God. And finally, we'll see the incredible gift that was brought back for all of us. All right, so the journey kicks off with an ascension up through the heavens. This is where the Prophet Muhammad meets the prophets who came before him. But it was his meeting with Prophet Abraham, way up in the 7th heaven, that led to a message meant directly for you and me. So this was the message from Prophet Abraham. What a beautiful way to describe paradise, right? But he didn't stop there. He didn't just describe it. He basically gave us the secret to start cultivating our own little piece of it. So Prophet Abraham explained that these simple phrases we say, things like glory to God and God is the greatest, these are the actual seeds we can plant. How amazing is that? Every single time one is said, a tree is planted for that person in paradise. It creates this direct link between what we do right here and our reward in the next life. Okay, so as the prophet journeyed even higher, the things he saw were, they were just beyond anything a human could possibly imagine. These are marvels that just hint at how vast and incredible creation really is. He reached a place called the Sidrat al-Muntaha. Now, this isn't just any tree. Think of it as a celestial landmark. It marks the absolute final boundary. Nothing, not even the Archangel Gabriel, who was guiding him, could go past this point. To try and give us some idea of its scale, the prophet described it in ways people of his time could understand, but just blown up to this impossible size. I mean, can you imagine fruits as big as huge jars and leaves so massive they look like the ears of elephants? And the tree itself was covered in colors we just don't have words for. From its very roots, 4 huge rivers started their journey, 2 heading for paradise and 2 heading right here to Earth, which connects this heavenly place directly to our world. So yeah, while 2 of these rivers flow into paradise, the other 2 become the sources of the Nile and Euphrates. Rivers that have been the lifeblood for entire civilizations for thousands of years. It's just such a powerful link between the heavens and our own history. And right near the tree, the prophet was shown another incredible sight, the Bayt al-Ma'mur, which means the frequented house. You can kind of think of it as the heavenly version of the Kaaba in Mecca. It's the center point of worship for the angels. And get this, every single day, 70,000 new angels enter this house to worship. And once they leave, they never come back. They make way for a totally new group the next day. And the day after that, on and on for eternity. I mean, it's a number that's it's almost impossible to wrap your head around. It just gives you a tiny hint of the sheer scale of the unseen world. So having passed this furthest boundary of all creation, the Prophet Muhammad was brought into the divine presence for what is really the climax of his entire journey, a direct audience with God. The Archangel Gabriel had to stay behind at the Lot tree, so the Prophet moved on alone, into a realm where he could actually hear the sound of the pens scripting the destinies of everything and everyone. Just imagine that, a moment of unbelievable spiritual closeness. And it was right here, in this divine audience, that the command was given. God obligated the prophet and all of his followers to pray 50 times every single day. This was the original command, the first pillar of worship. So the prophet accepted the command, but on his way back down, a meeting with another prophet would spark this extraordinary negotiation, an act of divine mercy that still shapes the lives of Muslims today. On his descent, he meets the prophet Moses. And when Moses hears about the 50 daily prayers, he speaks from his own deep experience with his people. He pretty much says, whoa, go back, ask for a reduction. Your people won't be able to handle that. This wasn't him questioning God's command. It was just this profound act of concern for humanity. What happened next wasn't really a negotiation. It was more like a beautiful dialogue about mercy. Prophet Muhammad went back and forth between the wisdom of Moses and the presence of God. Each time he went back, the number of prayers was lowered. And each time, Moses, with his deep understanding of how we are, would just say, go back, they can't handle it. It just shows this divine willingness to meet us where we are, balancing what's required with real compassion. And finally, it was reduced to five daily prayers, a number that was manageable, a duty that people could actually weave into the fabric of their daily lives without it being this impossible burden. And that became the final, merciful commandment. And with that final number came this incredible divine promise. God declared that even though the obligation was now only 5, the spiritual reward would stay as if it were still 50. I mean, that's the ultimate gift, right? A lighter burden with no reduction in the reward. And so this whole event isn't just a story from the past. It's a living, breathing reality. The 5 daily prayers that Muslims perform are a constant echo of that night, a beautiful reminder of a journey beyond the stars, an act of incredible mercy, and a wide open line of communication between the Creator and all of creation.